Hi, welcome to Quad Pod. Now, as you can see, there are two men on the screen, and yes, they have got their tops off. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
All good, fine, thank you. Yeah, fine.
We'll do some introductions in a bit, but before we do, right, it's tops off. I believe it's raining in Exeter at Henry's Park. A little shout for Henry's Park in the garden. This isn't live, so nobody will be appearing in the background to do anything not quite right, shall we say. But yeah, big shout out for Henry's Bar. It's a bit of a city pub, isn't it?
Yeah. 5 minutes from the ground, nice mix, locals and students. Good all-round pub, really. Yeah, good beer,
stuff. Well, welcome to, I'm going to say the world-leading now, fans-owned football club podcast, Quad Pod. So we thought we'd have a bit of fun for this one because I think we're something like, I've lost track, episode 30, I think now. So we thought we'd have a little bit of a celebration one. And you guys, I know people know you at the football, but I think you're in esteemed company, right? So we've got Pompey bell ringer, John, Portsmouth Football Club, Westwood. All right. We've got Tango Man, Sheffield Wednesday. All right. Little quirky fact. Do you know where he lives?
No.
He doesn't live in Sheffield. He lives in Wolverhampton, apparently.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm not suggesting this for a minute, Gareth, so go easy on this one. Wildstone Raider, right? Gordon Palmer Hill is obviously well known for Wildstone. Oldham have got George the Groundhopper. And then you've got, everybody knows the England guy, and I found out his name is Andy Milne. He looks like Steve McLaren. But they have got nothing, those football clubs, on U2 and the Tops Off Boys. So I'll start with Bidder, Gary, right? I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about your youth. Do you still play football? If you don't, what position did you play? And what's your style of play?
I play five-a-side football on Monday nights every week, sometimes Fridays. But I've got a lot going on at the weekends at the moment, so I don't play as much on Fridays. But I prefer five-a-side because the ball can do what I want because I got the walls. I use the walls, bounce off the wall. I ain't got the pace to go past people. I seem to be fitter now than I was 20 years ago, which is funny. But people don't think, because of the size of me, don't think I'm that fit. But I'm pretty fit now. I'm fit, and like I said, a lot fitter now than I was 20 years ago. So I can run past people and take people on now. But I let the ball do the work, shoot from range. That's me. I don't like 11-a-side because, like I said, the ball don't bounce easy. I used to play for the end.
Are you an attacking midfielder then, are you? If you shoot a lot?
I'm more defensive, and then I just shoot from the halfway line. Because what's the point in wasting energy running up to the goal when you can score from the halfway line?
Brilliant.
Very technical.
Very technical, yeah. And Gareth...
In my 11-a-side days, I briefly played occasionally for the centre spot, played for the Globe for a little bit, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. So just more the social, that side of it.
Yeah, of course. And Gareth, you've been a City fan for many years. I've seen you asleep on a terrace at Elm Park before now. What position do you play in? What's your favourite position?
I played, utility man, right back, left back, wherever they wanted me, you know. So played anywhere. In goal, ended up in goal, I think. I played for numerous teams, centre spot mostly. That was me, own club. I started there when I was 17, 18, I think. And we played out the Cat and Fiddle then, because the centre spot football club used to, in this pre-season, paint the terrace barriers, etc. Do all the pre-season work, painting and that, and they gave us a use of their pitch. So that was a start. Yeah. Really good.
You've only been playing 5 years then. When you said you...
I gave up. I played for the Globe, Sawyers, various teams, Silverton. And I came back when Stoke Hill Juniors got to 18, and then they put them in the league, and then we came out of retirement about 40 years old. and then ended up playing hockey for about 6-7 years. Right?
Did you?
Again through my children, yeah. Same again.
Brilliant.
Shorter players. I've always remembered a quote. I said, I've never picked a stick. I've never touched a stick from school and all that. 42, I think, or something like that. And he said, well, yeah, but you've got 11 players on the pitch. You've got to run around you. So I took it up, ended up in goal, and I ended up having trials for the West of England, which is, one step down from the national team. So didn't do bad. Yeah. And then the age, I thought, right, it's time just to go watching again. That's it. The only sport I play now is darts and skittles.
Well, you're doing better than me, because as you both know, I had a dodgy ankle. I've still got a dodgy ankle. I had ankle reconstruction surgery about a year ago. And I can't play anymore because it is my right foot, and that is my only foot. I'm that one-footed. But I didn't realize there's a fact. So tops off, boys. One of them had trials for the West of England hockey. I love that. That's brilliant. So go on. Let's go back a bit. Right. Depress yourselves. Bids, what was your first game? Can you remember?
I think it was Northampton at home on a Tuesday night, because I'd done every paper round in the world in Exeter, so I could never go, and I could only make midweek games. So I think might have been sort of 16, 17, 18, 88 season. So the season before we won the league, I went I think 3 times on a Tuesday night, and then the following season I was still doing the paper rounds, but I managed to get to go City every home game then. And every away game, or mostly away games. But yeah, my dad took me up there, and like I say, I could only do the midweek ones. But then, sort of, I stopped doing the Saturday paper round, and then still done the Sunday morning and the midweek one and that. So yeah, so then I managed to go every game then. So
my research team could be winding me up here. I don't know, but I believe you might have been supporter of the year at one point. Is that right?
I was football of the year. My mum wrote in when I was 17 years old, and she did technically lie, but she didn't really realise. She said I went to every game that season, and I think, to be honest, I missed 2 or 3 away games. And I was in the Tiffany's, as it was called, because it changed name the week before, which went to Warehouse, but it changed the name the week after my 18th birthday. And I was in there 17 years old. My dad just took me in there because it was the football night out. And they said, and Gary Bidders won Football of the Year. And then as the camera or the spotlight panned across to me, I had a pint of beer in my hand. And they went, he's 17 years old. And I just went, oh, cheers, Dad. I was a bit before the 17th, so it wasn't too bad. But, so I always remember that night. And then the following night, I think it changed to Warehouse. So following week.
Wow. So what about you, Gareth? What was your first game? You remember?
I can't honestly remember, Alistair. It's that long ago, but I'm trying to think now. This must have been 79, I reckon.
Oh, shit.
Umbrella's gone. Lovely weather here, as you can see in the background. It's about 70.
Yeah.
Yeah. 79, I think.
The water dripping off. Go on. Sorry, carry on.
I'm glad you can see that.
That fella ain't big enough. It's dripping straight down my back.
We both got wet pants.
79 it was. 79 season. Might have been 78. And when Dad took me there, I must have been 12, 13. No, it must have been, 78, 79, 12, 13. And he watched football all his life. Newcastle and what have you, Brighton, and and then Big Frank, he said in the cowshed. Said, right, he said, this is where you watch football, in the cowshed, and that was it. I was hooked. Lovely little bank there, so you got a raised platform to view the football. Primroses in the spring. Good days they were.
They were. And by the way, I started following a couple of years before you, I think, right? But that was a great time, wasn't it? Newcastle United, 1981.
Yeah.
You were at the evening game, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Did me paper run in record time and got down there.
Did you go to the away game, the first game?
First, yeah. My dad took me up because I was saying he went to university there, and he said, "I've got to take you to St James Park, like." And he went up on the train, and me and my dad went up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you see my dad, and bearing in mind he's a bit deaf now, can you tell him that your dad took you to Newcastle because I wasn't allowed to go? So, but I did go to the evening match. Right, gentlemen, you have a reputation for not wearing your shirts at matches, right? What's it all about? Where did it come from?
Well, yeah, we went to Taunton last year.
No, before that, Mansfield away last year. The season before. Mansfield away, Friday night.
Yeah, went to Mansfield Friday night. Gareth kindly drove. We were going out for the night in Nottingham, so me and Darren Brooks were dressed up for the night out. Gareth and the boys were dressed as though they were going football, and then we were going to get changed, but didn't realise that. So when we got up there, basically Joe Blackwell came up to me at half-time and said they're doing pints for 50p. And I went, oh, right, okay. Because it was a Friday night. They thought everyone would come up for the night. Most people drove and went back. So they got all these beers poured out like you see at Premier League grounds. And basically, we went down and said to 50p, and they only had cider. And I said, no, they only had cider. I said, don't suppose you got any cider in black, have you? He said, I got 4 out the back. No, sorry, they're £1 each. Got 4 out the back. You can have them for £2. And I went, yeah, I'll have all 4 then. So I took all 4. And it was a pound of pasty and a pie and all that. And we stood in the corner of the ground, and you could see 3/4 of the pitch, but you couldn't see the goal that we were shooting at. So we stood there and literally drank all the drinks that we could drink. Probably went in half hour into the second half. And then I just decided to take my top off. And then
I think they were calling you fat.
Someone was calling me a fat what's he called.
Yeah.
And then I just sort of reacted and went, all right, I'll show you. So I took my nice pristine shirt that I was wearing for the night out, screwed it up in a ball and just went, there you go.
And this is where it's born. Now, for the benefit, there's going to be some pictures to go out on Twitter, right? Now, this is sort of taking off a little bit, hasn't it, over the last season? Because there's now a lot of people doing it. And I've even seen pictures of, shall we say, younger fans in your area of the ground doing it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to come on to this now. You've got a new flag, I believe, for you guys. And you're in Rotter's Corner now. Is that right?
Yep.
Do you want to explain what Rotter's Corner is about and how it started?
Basically, played them lot down the road, which I don't want to name. The ones we don't like, down the A38. And
excuse me.
Obviously, we had the majority of the game switched off, and they scored 1 goal, and that was it, 1-0. And he came running right in front of us, and he actually swore. And it went a bit ballistic, like, because if we did it, we get thrown out by stewards, police. Yeah. He does it. Oh well, yeah, but you've been giving him jit. Well, sorry, but so it went mad, and then one of the Plymouth fans put on there, oh, look at all those rotters in the corner, like, and what do they call him? King Ennis or Sir Ennis, like, Sir Niall Ennis, and that was it. Look at those rotters in the corner, and that was it. Well, right, we're going to be Rotters Corner now.
and so for the new season, you've got a flag called Rotter's Corner, yeah?
We have, yeah.
It came out last game of last season, the Morecambe game.
Yeah.
We pulled it out for that game because we got it, made sure it arrived for that. And like what Gareth was saying, I think Plymouth fans took it as an insult. We actually jumped on board and took it as a compliment, and we'll call ourselves that. And I think some other England fans have heard about it and they think it's quite funny. So we're sort of looking the bigger person in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And for the benefit of those listeners that don't know about what's happening, because this is going to build, I know, it's on the big bank on the right-hand corner as you look at it, isn't it?
Yeah. So you look at the big bank, right, corner between just beside the disabled section, and between the disabled section sort of behind the goal and the disabled section a little bit higher with that down there, that first
about 3 or 4 rows it goes up.
Brilliant. Well, I'm sure people will know where you are now. Now, I know you like your drinks, right? Please drink responsibly, everybody. I'm going to just say that. I'll say that multiple times. Everybody's allowed a drink, right? And you take your tops off, but you do a bit of charity work here and there, don't you? So, I believe you're part of the Fez Army. Is that right?
Yeah,
we like to support them. Yeah, we like to support them.
And just explain a little bit about the Fez Army for those people that don't really know, because we assume everybody knows about it.
Yeah, I don't know the full story. I did get told about it last Christmas, but I think it's one of the lads' relation. Is it his dad or?
Well, basically, Alec Lynn, he used to have ALC windows that sponsored Exeter City on the front of their shirts.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, Alec Lynn, his son Martin, unfortunately had a rare form of cancer. He was a big, strong, strapping lad, rugby lad. And unfortunately, he succumbed to it. He fought it longer than they thought he would, and he succumbed to it. His son went to St James School, and I can't remember where the Fez originated from, but they did a charity day, and I think the school allowed them wear fezzes, and it just went on from there. So, and now every year they have a day normally tied in with a City home game where everyone wears fezzes, and you're putting in money in the pot, like for wearing them, for not wearing them, it's just all day long. Hello, police are here.
Police are here. We're having a recording. What are you doing?
Wednesday night in Exeter.
So that's what it is. Basically, Martin was probably when he succumbed around the 50 mark, so he's young. And as everyone knows, cancer hasn't got any qualms about who it picks. And if you do a bit, then do your bit. If you can't, that's fair enough. But if you want to give, then if we can give as much as we can to any cancer charity, they will find not a cure, but they'll find drugs or something that can maybe cure, maybe prolong it. So
Well, sorry, go on.
Sorry, the thing is that they bring out the Fez hats every year, and they'll sell them, and then the money goes in the pot. You don't have to buy one, but like Gareth just said, you can contribute. We all bought one last year, so we've got them ready for this year. I've sent you the picture. I think it's getting bigger and bigger when they do the Exeter one, because you're getting more people involved. You usually start at the King's pub in Carrick Street, and then basically have a pub crawl up to the football ground, all go football. And then after football, sometimes I think it more disintegrates after the game, because it's a lot of people go home, they're doing it for the day bit. And then every now and then they do an away trip. I've seen them at Northampton a few years ago. A couple of years ago, I saw them at Cheltenham. So, it's just whether they can organise enough to go, because they're normally on a minibus, is whether they can all sort of commit to it. They don't mind doing the Exeter one, because obviously everyone can do that, but it's committing each weekend and getting enough people. So, and they do, a substantial amount and raise a lot of money, and they do a lot of work for it. So fair play to them.
What will be really good is, and I know that you're not as close, but wouldn't it be nice to work out an away game this season, give everybody plenty of notice, and Exeter fans, away fans, we know what we're like, right? And just get a few more fezzes. I've seen it growing over the years. Right?
Oh yeah.
I've never worn one, but I'll quite happily do one and get one for charity. If you want to talk to the guys, maybe we'll talk on fair at some point, work out a deal and see whether we can do a deal with the club as well and get them sold in the shop. And let's just see whether we can get an away game and maybe even a home game where everybody does it. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, great idea. I would say
So we'll talk off screen about the Fez Army, but brilliant. Also, I know you get some bad press occasionally. I'm going to embarrass you, Gareth, because I know that you came to the Brian McDermott evening, and I know Gary wasn't able to come because he was stuck in traffic somewhere up north or something.
Thorpe Park.
Thorpe Park, that's right.
Yeah, I was coming back from Thorpe Park.
I just want to know how your paddleboard is, Gareth. Because for those that don't know, you want a paddleboard.
It was a skateboard. Yeah, it's in my bedroom and it's still in its wrapper because it's a dangerous sport, you know. I thought hockey was dangerous, but skateboarding, you know, I value my life, Alistair, and there will be an opportune moment. I'm just keeping it on the wraps, you know.
The word on the street is, if you'd been in the room when it was called out, you would have had a paddleboard.
Well,
I don't know whether you realise that.
Well, when you have a few pints, nature calls, you've got to go, haven't
you? I think what I'm trying to say is you got stitched up that night, so it was a good night. So,
but again, Alistair, it's for charity, isn't it? I mean, it's not for your own benefit, is it? You know,
exactly.
If that charity's made a bit and they can put it to good use, and I had a bit to spare, you know, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know.
I think you're more happy with a skateboard, aren't you, than a paddleboard?
Yeah.
There's not many rivers to go around in Exeter.
No, not.
Canal.
And do you know what? That's why I wanted to get you on the show. The researchers said about it. I was like, oh, this could be fun, right? On the Twitter account, and thank you for all the photos. I'm going to put a little bit of social media out about you. So I'm assuming you're going to be tops off this season and carrying it on, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, depending on the weather, sometimes he's got a bit more, what should we say, insulation around him, so he don't feel it as much as me. And he's 7 years younger.
Well, I'm going to try and get a picture with this flag with one of you tops off, yeah? So, look, thanks for coming on. You've been absolutely brilliant. Well, actually, a few things. I'm going to take the opportunity. We've forgotten to talk about a couple of things. What do you think about Archie Collins going? He's just gone tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a shame, but
yeah,
it's like everything. You've got to move on, haven't you?
It's what it is, I suppose.
Some people get stale. You know, he's been here a long time. Some people get, not saying him, but, you know, you've got these long-serving, you know, the old 10-year testimonial game. There's hardly any of them anymore.
No.
And you've got to refresh all the time. And unfortunately, I mean, it is what it is. If he doesn't want to better himself, then there's something wrong in it, because you always want to do your best as a professional. You always got to test yourself. So, you know, he's given us great loyal service. I'm saying good luck to you. Hopefully you get another, you know, you take another step forward, like, because I think he can, you know. Maybe we're holding him back, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, thank you for your service. I won't hold it against him if he comes back. Definitely not.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, the other bit of good news, I don't know whether you've seen it, or is Jack Sparks.
Yeah, gone to Portsmouth.
Where he's gone tonight?
Portsmouth, yeah.
Portsmouth.
Yeah.
So good luck
he wasn't
to him,
He wasn't the same player after the ACL, wasn't it? It was unfortunate. Or, you know, it was innocuous. But, you know, again, change of scenery and that. Hopefully he'll get back to his best. But like I said to everyone, don't forget that winner against Harrogate when we were 2-0 down. He scored in the 89th minute, 4-3. Cracking.
Yes.
It wasn't a cross. He chipped the goalie from the acute angle. You know? And,
you know, it was a great one.
Thank them for what they've done and wish him a luck. And if it, well, hopefully we'll see him next year. And I'll applaud him. I won't give him any abuse. Definitely not.
Okay, I've got a little funny anecdote about that game. Right, it was February the 15th last year. That year, and I'd had my ankle reconstructed during the day. I was in a day case, right, and I left the hospital at about 7 o'clock to come home, being collected. Right, I've still got all the anaesthetic in my head. Right, I've seen that we're losing the game. I think when I got home, Tim Dieng scored. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And obviously, he then did that. I had my leg up in a plaster, right? And I tried to jump up to celebrate the score. Never a good thing. So you've brought back a crazy memory, and we won't talk about Bristol Rovers disabled section away later on that month, because that wasn't a good sight either. Look, guys, what do you think of the next season? How are we going to go? Thoughts? Bids?
I'm sort of optimistic a bit. I think our running at the end of last season was big teams. I think we got a point at Fleetwood and they just went, we're already safe. We'll go and play these games. We all enjoyed the days out and all that, but you thought we won't win. But you think when you got to the games, you think, we might get a point, might win one game, but to lose 6 on the bounce. But, the mentality might not have been there that they actually worried about it as much. But, we were playing big teams, so you got to take it that way, haven't you?
I think we'd be about the same position, maybe a couple of places higher. But who knows? Scott's come back fitter. If he gets a ground running, gets a couple of goals, Nombe as well, there's no reason. We showed that. Like Gary said, last 6 games, the heart was still in it. We went, Sheffield Wednesday went 1-0 up. I'm sorry to say it, but the referees do tend to be a bit scared by these big teams, the inexperienced ones. And they get a few more benefit of the doubts. I'm not saying they're cheating. The benefits of the doubts go to the bigger club. But we push them all the way, apart from Ipswich, which was just a one-off, wasn't it? Apart from Ipswich, all those teams, Plymouth, Bolton, Sheffield Wednesday, there's only 1 goal in it. There's 1 goal in it. But you look at the wage bill. The wage bill is astronomical. Right, they get bigger crowds. But, you're talking a lightweight boxer against a heavyweight boxer. But you show on the football pitch, if you've got belief and the right mentality, which they did have, I know we lost 6 on the bounce, the right mentality, you can match them and even beat them. So I thought we were a bit unlucky the last 6, but I'm quietly optimistic. And
but I think if you look at those games, fair enough. But the Barnsley game, we played like Brazil up there, and they're a big club. But they haven't got a very good support up there. It was dreadful. And when they came into our place, we beat them 3-1, didn't we? We played them apart both games. And that was, we done the double over Barnsley and then the playoffs.
We played Sheffield Wednesday off the park over Christmas.
Just before Christmas,
and they grabbed an equaliser in the 89th minute. So, I'm quietly optimistic. And
you've got to look at those
you never know. If it all clicks, and football is not about 11-star names. If they all click and gel, then heart and, they've all got basically the same skill, but heart goes a long way. And if you've got that togetherness and you get a little bit of luck, you do need a bit of luck. Like say, going back to Harrogate game and Carlisle when we, he won in the 89th minute. You do need a little bit of rubber the green then, not luck, rubber the green. And, you suddenly go on a 6-10 match winning streak and honestly, they're floating on air. No one's going to beat us. We're invincible. And quietly confident. I don't think we'll struggle.
No, and I think
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, you also look at like Burton and Cheltenham, I think it was. We lost to both of them, home and away. Cheltenham came down for a draw and got a win. But you think those 2 teams were dreadful. We just couldn't play against them. When we played the big boys, we seemed to up our game a bit more. And, this season they might know that and think, right, well, Burton and Cheltenham are still here. They're not that good. And when you look at the teams that finished below us, you think, I don't think any of them are bigger than us as a club. And they're not that great a team. So, like Gareth says, it's got to be mid-table at least. And like we said, prior to February time, we were like close to the playoffs. But then you knew you had those 6 games coming up. So you slip up a couple of times and you're going to pull away from it. And you gradually got towards the bottom, but you didn't go close enough to the bottom that you're going to get relegated. So,
yeah, you're right. I mean, I think, and you will both agree with me, that the crowds last year were incredible, particularly the last game of the season. Right? Yeah. We're not a small club anymore, right? No. We have grown. The 3 of us know that our fan base has changed. There's a whole new network of fan base that's arrived, isn't it? It's not like the old days. Okay? and we need to start thinking a little bit bigger because I think we could do it. And I'm pleased that we've now got the money in for Archie. We're probably going to get some money for Josh. Hopefully, Ethan Ampadu goes for 12 million.
Yeah, you got a bit coming there.
So, and then Matt Grimes goes for 5 million. We get 320,000 once the the profit from the remainder of the transfer fee. That's quite a bit of money to invest, isn't it?
7 figures, isn't it? Which is, it's just, 7 figures is basically our annual wage bill, isn't it?
Yes.
So, you've got a little bit of scope to play with, but don't go silly and buy big names for stupid money. Then, like I went back earlier, it's been going on since probably Eamon Dolan days. You've got to get a player that fits in, I mean, I'm hoping Dimitri Mitchell will have a cracking season. They're settled down here. They've got a young child, about a year old now, and they like it down here. They like it down here. That helps, isn't it? If you like it down here and the family is settled, I don't understand these players, like Giovanni Ban, his missus never come down. Well, come down here, see the place, get a feel for it, and, you can live here. It's happy days, isn't it? And if you've got a happy home environment, then you're going to get the best out of that player, aren't you?
And there speaks volumes. So let's see how we go.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, I think if you look at the season ticket sales, 3,200. A couple of years ago, we were getting 3,200 crowd. That was our average crowd, roughly. So you sold that in season tickets now. So, like you said, it is getting bigger. You go to away grounds now, you're filling away games because you're taking so many. Average crowd, I think last season was like 700 or 800, and we took 1,500 at Pompey. We were the 5th biggest one in the league that day, and that included 4 from the championship. So and that was in January. So
and we've got to keep that going, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Ipswich was quite pleasing in terms of turnout. The distance, it's a long way from my house, let alone coming from Exeter. Are you going to Carlisle, gentlemen?
I might drive. Gareth wasn't coming last year, and I said I might drive. And then on Thursday, Gareth said, "Are you still driving?" So he jumped in. So it might be the same scenario this time because we're still sort of talking about Pompey on a Tuesday night. Paul Ashford said he might drive. Yeah, Paul Ashford said he might drive up so he can take one of his lads. And I said, well, you can drive my car and we can take more people. As long as he drives back, and I'm happy to go.
Right. I'm going to say I'll see you in Portsmouth, definitely. Right.
Oh, I won't be there, Alistair, and I'll tell you what, quick one here. Bolton, I know I'm not advertising you should smoke, right? Unfortunately, I'm a smoker, right? It's a drug, and I'd love to, if someone said 250 quid, give it up, I can cure you, give it up, I'll pay it. But Bolton said no smoking anywhere in the ground, not even at half time, because we used to be a Premiership club. I said, used to. Ports are the same, it's all concrete. If it's wooden, I understand it. But basically, they're taking rights away from people. Half time, I'm quite happy to go outside, have a cigarette, and that's it. One fag an hour and a half. And they come up with these stupid rules, so I won't be going there. They're not having my money. Yeah.
Well, Portsmouth didn't have a bar, did they? Portsmouth didn't have a bar.
Lots of clubs do that. They don't have a bar for the away fans, but if a city did that, I think that's petty, isn't it? Tit for tat. At the end of the day, if you've got a bar at half time for home fans, you should have one for away fans.
Yeah.
And the same with us, like I say, smoking is only me personally. I do need it. And I just don't understand why so many clubs, they just put a barrier outside the ground. So you walk outside the ground, barrier, have your cigarette, and you're back in. Simple solution. But
like the old big bank days, wasn't it?
But
so you're not going because of that. That's interesting. I will share that. It's not something I would think of because I'm not a smoker, as you know, and I'm also not a big drinker at matches because I tend to be driving. So it stops me doing that, so I can take my family. So I'm not going to see it the first game because I'm on holiday, I think. But watch out for this flag, all right? Somewhere crazy. because this is going to go out in the next couple of weeks. Just to let everybody know, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys. Let's get a photo with the flag as well.
Yeah,
let's sort out the Fez Army idea.
Yes, well, I'll look into that. Yeah. Definitely.
Let's find a good away game that a lot of people get to. Plan it, and we'll.
Leighton Orient, straight away. Leighton Orient in March. Leighton Orient.
Leighton Orient.
Yeah, in March.
Okay.
One of the most popular away days.
That's the date. We'll do Leighton Orient in March. Talk to the boys, and we'll announce something. We'll promote it on Quad Pod. We'll work it out. You guys tell me the charity stuff, the charity numbers from the guys. And are you after a driver for your minibus this time? I'll put a appeal out for a driver for you.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they do about driver. I don't know whether they got someone who drives for them.
Leighton Orient will be a train.
No, Leighton Orient will be a train one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
Sorry, I thought you were just talking about like a big away game. I said, yeah, Leighton Orient's a train one, always.
Right. You heard it first on Quad Pod. Leighton Orient is going to be a Fez day. But you need to buy one of the Fezes from the charitable people around Exeter City, right? Because their small amount will go to it. If not, you'll have to just give a donation on the day. But let's aim to get 50-60% of people wearing Fezes on that day. Let's go national and let's make this thing go bigger. Yeah, because you've done so well. So well done to you both, boys. Thanks for coming on. Is it still raining? Right. It looks like it's still raining.
Stop now.
Is it? So it's a Quad Pod first time in a pub beer garden and in a rainstorm, and you've not got your top on.
Still raining.
I think Bidder had 2 or 3 pints during it, and I think Gareth had a Lucozade, I think, at one point. Is that right?
No, he had cider.
Hang on,
it's a cider, is it? It's got to go the other way. Yeah. Cider. Pop a Devon cider.
Devon Red. Devon Red, all the way from Crediton.
Devon Red.
Alistair, I'll just say one thing, going back to the tops off scenario. When we went to Oxford, I was driving, and Gareth said, "Are you taking your top off?" And I thought, well, I'm not really that fussed because I'm driving. So when you're driving, you tend not to do it as much. And we got in the away end, and as you know, the fourth side of the ground hasn't been finished. It's just a car park. It's a massive open space. Yeah. Me and Gareth must have been about 10 feet from that area. We both took our tops off and sat there and went, "Yeah." And then Gareth went, "It's 3:05, Bids. It's freezing." I went, "Yeah, I know." And he was shaking. He was bouncing his knee up and down. And I went, "All right." So he got to about 3:15, and I thought, I can't do it straight away because then it looks like I'm just copying him. So I grinned and bared it. Got near half time, and it was freezing. I can vouch for that. And poor Gareth left his coat in Exeter that day, so he had to sit there with a jumper on after being there tops off for a little bit. So it was a good day out. It's just the fact that we were right next to this massive open area. I don't know why they didn't finish the stadium. Yeah. And the wind
you've set a precedent now, tops off, right? And I thought I'd finish by doing this with you. I'm tops off for the finish. Right. We'll see you soon. Thanks for coming on. You've been brilliant.
Yeah, take care, mate.
Responsibly.
Catch you up soon.
Pleasure.
Cheers, mate.